Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday to show you a fun new project. So I'm just going to chit chat for a second until it shows up in people's news feed. I just felt it on my watch that we were live. I'm just going to make sure that we are live on the iPad. I was watching Netflix earlier, so hopefully I remembered to turn my volume down, and I did. So good evening, everybody. Hopefully everyone's had a great day and a great holiday weekend. I spent the weekend, or actually yesterday, in the house working on fall crafts for the girls. I should have brought one out to show you guys, but I'll take a picture of it once they're all done. The E6000 glue takes forever to dry, so that's what I'm waiting on. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend as well. Hello, Anna and Heather, Monique, good evening. If you're just logging on, say hello so I know you're here. Hopefully we get through all of today's cards. I did prep quite a few, but we will see how many we get to put together. Let me show you what it is. Hopefully the lighting is okay, but it's not a normal card. You're going to write your sentiment or put your gift card on there, and it slides right on the inside. So that is what we're going to be playing with. Since yesterday was Labor Day and it is the end of summer, not Arizona summer, but to normal people who don't live in Arizona, it was the end of summer. So I thought we should do some fall projects. So let me scoot you down and we're going to get started. I know you're off to the side, but I have to pull the camera over a little bit. Hopefully I didn't make you guys too dizzy. So let me bring in the project one more time. So here it is. So you can use this as a gift card holder. You could put a piece of our basic white on the back if you wanted to, or you could just write your sentiment on here, and it has a little pocket that this slides in. It kind of gets hung up a tiny bit on the edge, but it does scoot down to the bottom. So the stamp set we're using, it does have a matching die, but we're not actually using the dies for this card. It's called Beauty of Friendship, and it's these beautiful trees, and it has so many great sentiments. You truly inspire me. Friendship refreshes the soul. I loved these sentiments, so that's what I decided to use. So hello, Valerie. Good evening. So let me bring in the items. Oh, actually, let me bring in the other card. I made two. So I made this one in Mossy Meadow, and this one I did in Night and Navy. So we can pick which one that you guys like the best. So the measurements, I did put all the measurements in the description before we went live as well. But this one is Night and Navy, and it measures 5.5 by 4 1/4. So it's our normal card base, but we're only using 1/4 of the sheet. And then you need a piece of layering that is 5 1/4 by 4. And this one I am using is Misty Moonlight. Your designer series paper is going to be 4.5 by 4.5. And then we're going to have 2 pieces of basic white. One measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And this one measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. I actually didn't write that down. I have my little sticky note right here, and I didn't write that down, but I did remember it. And then another layering piece that's 3 by 3. So let's scoot all these out of the way because we are going to be focusing on our designer series paper first. So if you have a directional specific designer series paper, you want to make sure that you only score your 3 edges facing up. So make sure your designer series paper is facing the upward position, and we're going to score these 2 sides and then the bottom. So let me bring in my scoring tool, and we are going to score this 3 times. Let's see, who just logged on? Susan logged on, Karen logged on, Linda logged on. Hello, ladies, and Barbara, hello. Okay, so we're going to score this 3 times. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. So I'm literally just going to flip the paper. So I'm scoring at 1/2 inch on just the 3 sides. Good evening, Donna. I just saw that you popped in. So that's all you need your scoring tool for. And I swear to you, if you don't have a scoring tool, you definitely want to have one of those in your studio. It is a lifesaver. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold and varnish. Let me find my bone folder. There it is. So I'm just going to fold on those 3 score lines. Actually, we can probably flip it over, make it a little bit easier. And while I'm folding this, I posted on the Facebook page that the Penguin bundle set is on back order. I kind of did predict that. So I do have 4 sets left. If anybody wants this month's class to go, I do have 4 sets left. So just shoot me a message. Okay, so back to our project. So here is our 4.5 by 4.5 piece of designer series paper. We went ahead and scored it on all 3 edges at 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is come down here to the bottom, and you have this little square right here. We are just going to cut that completely off. So you're just, right here is where the square meets. We're going to literally just cut that completely off of both sides. And then I'm going to come up here to the top, and I just want to angle this top in a little bit. This is just going to help your cardstock slide inside a little bit better. We can get our shrapnel out of the way. So when you flip it over, it's going to look like this. So what I did is I went ahead and grabbed some mini glue dots, and I thought this was the easiest thing to do, is pull one of your mini glue dots off. That actually might be the hardest thing to do. And I'm just going to put a mini glue dot right at the edge. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. And this is just going to help hold our edges down while we put adhesive on it. So I just put it right there in the corner, and it's not going to cover very much, but it's just going to give me a little bit of tackiness to hold that together. So there we go. So let's grab some adhesive, and I just want to put a little bit on all 3 of these sides. This is such a simple card to put together. I was pretty wowed on how fast it went together. So now that we have that glued, I'm going to bring in our other pieces. We're going to get rid of these 3 pieces just for a minute, and we're going to work with our Misty Moonlights. So I am going to go ahead and attach it to the Night and Navy 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece. There we go. Just attach that. Now we're going to pick this guy up. We're going to make sure to hold our edges together, and we're literally just going to put this right on the front of it. And you want to just center it so it's even on these 3 sides. We're not too worried about this piece up here. So there we go. Just going to hold that down for a quick second. And look, our card is actually almost done. We just have a little bit of decorating to do. So this is the piece that's going to slide on the inside. And it does get hung up on that little 1/2 inch at the bottom, but if you just maneuver it a little bit, it slides right in. So the original one that I did, I put Thinking of You on it because that's what's in the stamp set. This one up here is Thinking of You. But then I got thinking, I was playing with this stamp during our team meeting, and I actually didn't realize that it said sending lots of love. I thought this set, I actually didn't even read the sentiments on this set, but I loved sending lots of love. So I thought I would pull that in and use that set. So I'm going to pull out my Night and Navy. I'm going to stand up to do this so I make sure to get it right. I'm going to ink up the Sending Lots of Love. Oh, let me make sure I ink that up good enough. And I'm just going to come up here and stamp it towards the top. There we go. Sending lots of love. And I have these little snowflakes, or I'm not exactly sure if they're snowflakes, but the little doodads in there. I love little doodads. So I'm just going to ink up some of my doodads, and I'm going to stamp a couple on the edge. And just for giggles, we'll stamp one at the bottom as well. So now I'm going to actually leave the Night and Navy out because we're going to use it one more time. So I'm going to slide this over to the side and bring in this piece of our basic white. And this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I'm going to bring in our early espresso. And I'm going to ink up the, oops, I did that wrong. Let me wipe that off. Good thing I have my little cleaning pad here. We're going to do this in Night and Navy. The other one is early espresso. So I'm going to ink this up in Night and Navy. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to stamp one of the trees up tall. I'm going to re-ink. And I'm going to put 2 more trees off to the side. There we go. Clean that off so I don't forget to do it for our next card. And I'm going to bring in our little splotches, and I'm just going to randomly stamp. So I inked up and I'm going to stamp twice before I re-ink. And this is just going to give it a little bit of character. And you can do as much or as little as you want. Well, let's do one right there and one there. There we go. Super cute. And very easy, very simple to put together. Okay, so now we're going to take our basic white piece and we're going to attach it to our Night and Navy. There we go. Gonna let that dry for a quick second. And I brought in some of our baker's twine. It's our Misty Moonlight and the basic white baker's twine together. So I was going to put a mini glue dot on one side. And I just want to wrap it a couple times around here. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Wrap this. Make sure it's kind of even. Grab your paper snips and another mini glue dot. Sometimes you need a couple more hands when you're trying to hold your ribbon down, and grab a mini glue dot. Put that right there, and we're going to flip this over. There we go. And now while it's on its back side, I am going to grab some dimensionals. And I'm just going to load up this bad boy. And I definitely want one in the center because it's a little bit thicker and heavier. Peel the backing off. And now we can attach this to the front of our card. Perfect. And our lots of love, or sending lots of love, is going to go on the inside. There we go. And I wanted to tie a double bow. Have you guys ever tied a double bow before? So I like to work with my twine left on the roll just so I don't have so much waste. But on this one, you do need to cut it off. So I'm going to take, I don't know, what is that, maybe 6 inches or so, 8 inches, and I'm going to double it. So I have probably a piece that's 12, 14 inches long. So I'm going to line up the 2 pieces, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to cut this in half. So now I'm working with 2 pieces of twine. So I'm literally going to do the same thing like I tie my normal bows. I'm going to do 2 bunny ears. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky because now you have to feed 2 pieces through your loop in the bottom. But it'll work, I promise. You might have to do it once or twice, but it'll definitely work. There we go. And now you can just pull and make it the size you want. There we go. That's how you do a double bow. So I'm going to bring in my card, put a mini glue dot on the back, and now I'm going to put this right in front. There we go. Super easy and super cute. It looks a lot more complicated than what it really is. And I loved the Night and Navy with the Night and Navy trees. Okay, there's that one. Let's move on to the next one. The next one we're going to do is Mossy Meadow. And I have already scored the Mossy Meadow sheets. So we're just going to go ahead and put them together. And I can't ever do anything singles. I have to do multiples of everything. So when I went to cut the background of the designer's or the cardstock, so this one's Mossy Meadow and this one was Night and Navy, I realized you could get 4 bases out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So I figured, if I'm making 1, I might as well make 4. So we may not be able to make them all on the Facebook Live, but I did cut 4 of each of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the old olive to the Mossy Meadow. And this has already been scored, and you can see that my direction is going up. So I just made sure to score the bottom and the sides. So let's give this a good crease. There we go. One last side. Now, if cutting the whole corner off at the bottom gives you anxiety, it's totally okay if it does. I'll give you a little hint. You can just come in and trim off the edge just to make like a little triangle. So we're literally, you can kind of hopefully see the score marks right there. I'm just going to come in and take a bit on the outside of the score line, and I'm going to come up here and do the same thing on this side. There we go. And I'm just going to come up and trim this off just for good measures. Let's get all this shrapnel out of the way. We're going to flip this over. And see, doing it that way gave me a tiny bit extra room at the bottom to glue down, to put down my mini glue dots. So if something gives you anxiety, switch it up a little bit. Crafting is supposed to be relaxing and enjoyable. So you see how I'm just tacking it down just so it gives me a little bit of structure. So now I can come in, put some adhesive. So I'm just going to put adhesive on all 3 of the folded sides. And now we can lift this up, bring in our card base, and glue it down. You can definitely get crazy with this as well and emboss this piece before you put it down. Or you could flip it over and put a piece of basic white on the back so you can write your sentiment on it. So possibilities are endless. Okay, so let's bring in these 2 pieces. So we are going to use the Early Espresso on this card. So I'm going to bring in the Early Espresso and I'm going to ink up. I already cleaned the stamp. So I'm going to ink up and I want to stamp 2 trees this time. So I'm going to come over here and stamp. And I'm not going to ink this up again because I want it to be a little bit lighter. So I'm literally just going to stamp right next to it. And now I have the Mossy Meadow. I just re-inked this Mossy Meadow, so hopefully I didn't re-ink it too much and it go all over the place. So I'm going to take the leaves. I was talking to Anna this morning, I think she's still on, and she said that she loves the change of seasons with all the leaves changing. We don't get that very much here. So I'm not going to re-ink this again, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to stamp this tree. I do love to see the changing of leaves. Okay, let's leave the Mossy Meadow out because we want to stamp on our basic white piece. So I think I want to use the same sentiment, sending lots of love. Let me wipe it off just to make sure it's clean. I'm going to ink this up in the Mossy Meadow and come up here and stamp it at the top. The only thing about these cards is if you accidentally mess up or drop your stamp, you can't really flip it over because you'll see both sides. So if you make a boo-boo on this one, you'll have to just get a new piece, which is just paper. And I tell myself that all the time until I mess up. I was actually prepping the the to-go class, the Penguin class, and I realized I used all the wrong cardstock for the class. And I was not very happy with myself, but I said to myself, self, it's just paper. It's okay. So I got over it and recut all the right paper. Even though it is frustrating, I do get it. Okay, so now this is the gold ribbon that I'm going to use on the Mossy Meadow. I love green and gold together. I think it's so classy. So I'm just going to come down here and put a piece right at the bottom. Trim this off. Oh, Anna, you have to send me some pictures. I wish we had this change of colors and the red leaves. Oh, so pretty. There we go. And I went ahead and already tied a bow, but now that I'm looking at it, he's a pretty massive bow. Let's see if I can make him a tiny bit smaller. Big bows are good, but not for every project. So I'm just going to give this a tiny haircut. There we go. Okay, that bow is much nicer for this card. Okay, so I'm just going to put that right there. I'm going to flip this guy over, grab some dimensionals, place them on the back. I think this is probably the most daunting thing, is taking the backs of those guys off. Let's bring in our card. And this is going to go right in the center. You could definitely use the Very Vanilla cardstock for this as well. And the gold ribbon with the Very Vanilla paper and the greens, oh, absolutely stunning. So now you just have to kind of wiggle this guy in, and there you go. Look at how cute these cards are. I actually think I might have a piece of, I do. I have a piece of basic white that's 4 by 5 1/4. So it's 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I am going to put this on the back side, just so you guys can see that you can do this and write your sentiment on the back side. And I think I have a gift card right here. I do. It's been empty for a while, but I always like to keep one by my Facebook Live table. So you could definitely use a mini glue dot, stick your gift card on there, slide your gift card on the inside, slide this in, and write your sentiment on the back. So look, you guys just got a double whammy for this Facebook Live. Not only do you have a super duper cute card, but you could make it into a gift card holder. So there you go. I won't torture you guys and make all of them, but you get the gist on how to make a fun single layer, not really single layer, but it doesn't open like a normal card. So there you go. Let me pull all of them in. Which one is your favorite? The Night and Navy and Midnight Muse? No. I lost the other blue. So Night and Navy or the Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. I actually don't know which one I like better. I think they're all super cute and definitely different. And I hope you guys liked them as well. So let me flip the camera over. Hold on one second. Sorry. There we go. I got to get this out of the way. So hopefully, as I knock everything over, sorry about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's Facebook Live. Please remember there's only 4 of those Penguin Class to Go's available. So if you want it, please let me know, because once they're gone, and we can't order them until sometime in November. And it's been pushed back a little bit, I think. So they may not even be back before Christmas. So I do have 4 sets. If you guys want the Penguin set, please let me know. If not, I will see everybody on Thursday for another live. And don't forget about bingo and the retreat. So we have lots of fun things happening in the crafting studio. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night. Bye-bye.